Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's start off with Theo, because eventually it's gonna lead to Chanel. But let's start off with Theo for a minute. Theo, I just don't know about this character. I really don't. He is talking to Claire, and Claire is not there talking about that time where she almost had to wash dishes because of the craziness that Chanel got her involved in. She doesn't say Chanel, but she's talking about the incident that happened. Towards the end of this conversation, she gets a call from... Well, at one point, they talk about Sierra. And, Theo's like, everything is better when Sierra's here. And, I'm looking at this dude like, and what was that mean? And Claire flat out asked him, do you still have feelings for her? Because she's married, right? And Theo's like, nah, I don't have any feelings for her or anything like that. He's like, we're just friends and stuff. Now, Claire gets a call from Ben about, Marlene's going to hypnotize Sierra to try to get her memories back. So she tells Theo, she's like, yeah, there's a good chance that, she may start to remember, who she is and everything by Marlena. And Theo had a look on his face. And that look was disappointment. And I'm sitting there thinking, why do you have a disappointing look on your face that Sierra may get her memories back? You just literally said to Claire that, yeah, I know she has amnesia, but I don't. I know that she's married and we're just friends and everything. But not that long ago, you're talking about everything is better when Sierra's here. I don't know. For me, I see that as kind of snake-like behavior. Listen, I get it. They went out a long time ago. They're good friends. They were best of buddies and everything like that. But you know what? At the end of the day, things change and people grew and moved on. She moved on to Ben. Regardless of what you think of him, that is her husband. She might actually have amnesia or whatever, but that's not an open invitation for you to be like, oh, well, you don't remember Ben, right? So what's good? So the fact that he had a look of disappointment on his face that Sierra might get her memories back was just like, the hell? Now, granted, the fact that he already went out with Chanel is also just negative points towards him. But I do like the fact that he realized that they were just not compatible and, it ended, so. But, you know what? No, I gotta sit there and take that back because from what the story says is that Chanel broke up with Theo. So, anyway, that's some negative points right there. Now, Chanel was with her mother, and her mother pretty much kicked her out the house because she's having a meeting with Abe, and she wants her daughter to get a damn job, and for whatever odd reason, this girl, well, not for whatever odd reason, this girl just acts like a spoiled little brat. So, she meets up with Theo, and she's being all, like, super nice and polite and just really fake and everything, and she's like, I think we should move in together. Like, we should go back to Africa together. I'm like, so let me get this straight. Your mother said to get yourself a job. And you took it upon your trifling ass to try to use Theo as what? Some sort of meal ticket? Are you kidding? Listen, when I do these reviews, I try not to be negative or be like just at people, but like this woman is this this little girl, because I refuse to call her a woman. This little girl idea is to use Theo as some sort of free meal ticket or whatever. Like, there's I'm just not gonna really get into that. Because there's a whole bunch of other things that I could sit there and say about that, but I'm just going to keep it PG-13. Now, Lonnie and Eli were sitting there talking about the check, and you know, Lonnie just had a lot of misgivings because of what happened with her mother and how Paulina used to sit there and spoil her when she was younger. And she doesn't want to feel like she's indebted to her. But, Eli's like, yo, your aunt loves you, The worst case scenario is that they have to wear, like, matching shirts or whatever. Like, it's about the kids. Like, we got to put our pride aside and do what's best for the kids. Like, college is going to be expensive when they get old enough. And, it'd be nice to actually have a little extra money for camp and all that good stuff. So they talk it over and they decide that it's a good idea. So they wound up running into Theo and Chanel. And Chanel was like, once Chanel finds out that they're somewhat related, which is gross, but granted they didn't know that, so okay, fine. Chanel's like, did you know about this whole thing? And Theo was like, no, because you never really asked. You never really asked about anything. And I'm just sitting there thinking, y'all are getting into damn near Riverdale territory. Long story short, there was two people that was somewhat related by third and fourth cousins or whatever, and I think they knew that, and they still hooked up anyway. So, this show, I'm not gonna lie, this show, it's like there's so many people that's so damn near related. I'm just like, how are y'all together? And not making sure y'all don't accidentally wind up being together and y'all are somewhat related. Because that's just... so yeah, that was... oh my goodness, y'all guys are so close to being related. And at that point, Theo is just livid, by the way. Because once he figures out about Chanel and her situation, he's like, so pretty much you just want to just use me, right? Like, that's this whole trying to move in together and everything like that was, yeah, I'm good. So he heads out. She gets all bratty with Lonnie talking about thanks, cuz. Thanks for what? For ruining your free meal ticket? I just... So she walks off and she runs into a drunk Xander. And Xander's like, hey, you know what? Misery loves company, or something along those lines. You wanna hang out? Wanna chill? And she's like, well, not doing really anything else. So apparently she's gonna join him for a drink, which is probably not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. Now, granted, Xander did show up at Julie's restaurant, drunk as hell. Pretty much the only thing that was going on between Julie and Jack was that they were catching up. They were talking about Paulina. They were talking about Xander and the non-wedding. And that's when Xander showed up drunk. And he wanted more alcohol. He came in and he was complaining about Roman not, pretty much cutting him off. And Julie was like, yeah, I'm going to follow suit. So you can go now. No. So Jack pretty much kind of gets Xander out before he decides to get a drink himself. And they get to the park. Apparently, he already took the drink that he needed to take. He's all angry and upset and hurt and everything like that because of the whole Sarah and all that nonsense that didn't happen because Rex blew into town. And, well, we all know about how Kristen used a Sarah mask and pretended she was Sarah to hurt Xander for reasons that, you could just probably look that part up yourself. But the point is, Xander is hurt. And he is on a non-stop bender. Man, I wonder what those hangovers must be like, because those are so not fun. But he winds up getting them to the park bench. And, at one point, he looks at the bottle, he's like, yo, let's return that back to Julie. And Xander's like, you want to return a half bottle to Julie? What are you, nuts? And I did laugh about that. Then he was like, yo, listen, if you're not drinking, then just leave. And Jack leaves, and I'm sitting there thinking, you sure that's a good idea to just kind of leave him by himself, drunk in a park? Because I feel like that's not going to end well. But he does. And that's when Chanel runs into him, and yeah. Well, they're not related. I don't think they're related. I hope they're not related. Damn it, this town is just too many people are just too connected as far as blood relative. Now, Paulina has a meeting with Abe, and pretty much, long story short, she wants to buy the majority of the square. She wants to renovate it and have, it be more diversity. LGBTQ and all that, and, just kind of make it better, because pretty much she was like, it lacks diversity. And how even Abe was like, yeah, I would kind of like to see some more black-owned businesses here, because, yep, he doesn't say it, but we all kind of guess. So he's fine with it, honestly, and to be honest, I think it's a good plan. Listen, I wasn't exactly I wasn't exactly a fan when Paulina was coming at Kate with the whole being a diversity cop. Like, I just was not a fan of that. But I do understand where she's coming from. And it's not like she has some sort of nefarious plans or anything like that. So, brings in more jobs, it's good for the community, and, other towns can follow suit. I'm with it. But that's not it. So, that deal is closed. But, Paulina was like, so I do mix business with pleasure. Kind of like Gabby. Because apparently that's the thing. And, of course, mixing business with pleasure, that could just never go wrong. Ever. So, she's about to sit there and, kind of put the moves on, Abe, and of course they get a knock on the door from Lottie and Eli. And now Abe is one of those type of people that he doesn't seem like he gets too flustered or like has too many awkward moments. So whenever he does, you just know it. So, Lonnie's like, so, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Why y'all two in the same room? Why y'all dressed like that? So Abe kind of makes his awkward way out the room. Lonnie says that she accepts the blank check to help out the kids, and, all well ends well, pretty much. Now, the last scene I want to sit there and talk about, because I was sitting there thinking, there's one more scene. And that is, Marlena hypnotizing, Sierra while Claire and Ben wait outside, wait in the hallway. It's just super impatient. Like, what's taking so long? What's going on? Why? It should have happened by now. We got to calm down. Like, it's a process. I get it. You want the old Sierra back. Everyone does. But, like, acting like some 9-year-olds waiting for Santa to come down the chimney isn't making go any faster. So, like, just calm down. Just breathe. So, Marlena starts the process. And halfway through it, Sierra remembers a fire. And so she starts to have a panic attack. Marlena pretty much kind of wakes her out of it. Now, Sierra's like, what's going on? Like, is it burning and everything like that? Ben did it. He must have did it. And I'm just like, here we go again. Sierra has a way of just irking me. And I know that she's not doing it intentionally, but every time she either gets defensive or just starts blaming Ben for, like, I don't know, world hunger or something else, it's just like, okay. So she presses on Marlena to sit there and be like, alright, so it was Ben, right? It had to be Ben. She cuts her off at one point. Marlena's like, it's not Ben, trust me. But you know, let's keep going. So, Ciara presses and presses and presses, and finally Marlena's like, yeah, she's not the one that started the fire. It was Claire. So at this point, I don't think that I don't think going into tomorrow's episode, she's probably going to stop this whole hypnosis thing. We're going to drag it on out even further down the line. And she's not... I have a feeling that, like, this is just how it's going to play out. And I think that's probably it for the review as far as me covering everything. I don't think I really missed too much of anything. I feel like she's going to stop the process halfway through. Theo is... And by the way, Theo came to Julie's bar ready to get hammered because, well, he had another encounter with Chanel, and, well, I think he finally realized what type of person Chanel really is. And, here's the thing, I partly feel bad for this character. And not in the way that people think. Like, I think she is a trifling-ass woman that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole. I feel bad for her in some ways because I feel like everyone's going to push her away. Like, there's not really that many eligible bachelors in town. And, I mean, Tripp is not going to really sit there and probably try to go out with Chanel. Ben wouldn't, well, because he's with Ciara. And even if so, I just don't see him with Chanel after what she did to Claire. Theo wants no parts of her. So, really does not leave a lot of people in Salem. I mean, there's Xander, but, I mean, it's just kind of weird. Like, I feel like, and I was going to sit there and say, like, I feel like Xander is so much older than Chanel is, which is true. But I have not said anything about Jake and Kate, so I'm just going to kind of leave that where it is. But I say I feel partly bad for her because, let's be honest, Chanel kind of does her own thing, and anything that results from that is pretty much all on her, so... Yeah, and with that being said, I think that's about it. Yep, I think that's about it. So with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below about this episode. I will see you in the next video.